Hi, this is Jamie Magridge coming to you from my craft table again today. I would like to show how I made this card. It's a clean and simple card. It's just stamping. There is a little bit of heat embossing, so I apologize. It's going to be loud for just a short minute. Let me put you down and show you what supplies I'm using today. Screen. Alright, that works pretty good, I think. I'm going to leave you right there. Okay. Stamp sets I'm using today is Peaceful Noel. I'm using a lot of the foliage out of the Peaceful Noel. And then I'm going to use this Flourish and May the Beauty of the Season Fill Your Heart with Joy from Merry Christmas to All. So I'm using two different stamp sets. This one I'm going to leave out because we're going to be using all those little stamps. This one I already have mounted to my Stamparatus. And I chose to use the Stamparatus simply because I want to get a really good crisp impression of my sentiment. And I find that's the easiest way to do it. And then I wanted to line this up above it so that I was already using it, so why not use it for the rest of it. We're also going to be using Versamark ink, the Embossing Buddy copper embossing powder. We're going to be using the chamois because there's a lot of stamp layering, so we're going to need to keep cleaning off our stamps. I'll set that up there. And a Pierce mat. I'm also using the silicone craft sheet on top of that so that I don't dirty my craft sheet. I mean my piercing tool. Put these up here. For paper, I have a layering weight 4 by 5 1/4. I have 2 of them in case I mess up, just so I'm prepared. I have a piece of Night of Navy, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and a piece of the thick Whisper White, which is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored and folded at 4 1/4. We're going to need some Tombow glue to glue the layer on, and that's the extent of the paper products. Now for the colors, for the ink pads, there are 4 of them. I'm going to use Night of Navy, the Shaded Spruce, Merry Merlot, and Soft Suede. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to start with the Merry Merlot. I'm going to put my layer cardstock into the Stamparatus tool. I'm going to put it all the way into the corner. Make sure it's all the way in the corner. Cut square because it didn't want to fit that way. Okay, I'm going to just put this magnet a little bit onto this edge. Okay. We're also going to need our heat tool to emboss, but alright. Open this up like a compact, slide it open. We're going to ink this up. Flip it over, stamp it, put a little bit of pressure all over the stamp. Lift it up, make sure it's still in the corner. There's some that didn't stamp, so we're going to ink it again and stamp it again. That's why I used my Stamparatus tool. So I wanted to make sure I got a good, clean, crisp sentiment. The rest of the stamping doesn't matter if it lines up or if it's perfect, but this I really wanted crisp and clean. Much better. Okay, so we're done with this piece. With this just wipe it off so I don't get ink ink everywheres. Remove this one. Put it straight up. Put it over here, out of the way. We're going to bring over this one. And I just lined that sentiment up, sort of centered but a little bit off to the side, because we're going to stamp all around in this area here with foliage. Okay, we're going to put the Merlot ink aside for a minute. We're going to get the Versamark. We're going to treat this with the embossing tool, or the embossing buddy, so no, it doesn't stick anywhere we don't want it. That out of the way. Versamark ink. And this is the Flourish. And I just placed it above the sentiment. Ink it up good. Stamp it down. Put on the Versamark. Okay, we can take it out of the Stamparatus. Bring over my coffee filter. Stamparatus can get put away for now. Bring this over so I can see it. Let's see if I can put it here. That'll work. Alright. I'll sprinkle this with the copper embossing powder. Originally I wanted to do it with the gold, but my gold embossing powder is expected to come tomorrow. I didn't want to wait. I wanted to do the video today because I have to work tomorrow. More here. Make sure it's good and covered. Alright. I'm going to take a moment and put this away so I don't spill it. I have 2 coffee filters in here, so if I spill it from the first one, I can catch it with the second one. It's much easier. Alright. We are going to use this again, but for now I'm going to put it down underneath. Now this is loud and I apologize. I'm going to put it down here and heat it up for a minute. To it. I'm going to go from underneath so you can actually see it melting. There it goes. It's starting to melt. Ooh, it's hot. There it goes. Now once I get it all melted, go back over it just to smooth it out a little tiny bit. Okay. Apologize for that loudness, but again, it's necessary. Put it down there, I guess. Alright, so now I'm going to bring over our Stampin' Pierce mat with the silicone mat on it. You can put a scratch paper or anything over the top of it. I just chose to do it this way because it works. And we're going to be stamping down here in this section. We're also going to need a piece of scratch paper to stamp off with. So we're going to start with this piece here. It's looks like an evergreen, and I'm going to close this until I'm ready to use it. We're going to be using the shaded spruce color. So again, click it open like you do a compact, slide it in. Alright, can you see everything? Scooch this over. Okay, so I'm just going to randomly stamp this in a few spots. I'm going to start over here, and it's okay to stamp off your page a little bit. Ooh, make sure it's good and inked. Every card is going to come out a little bit different because you're freehand stamping, so there's nothing wrong with that. Over here. Now I want it to come off the page this way a little bit. So now I'm going to clean this off. I only have a couple stamp blocks, so I have to keep washing my stamps off to... and I'm washing them off on my Stampin' Chamois. I just have it in a case and it sits there so I can see when I'm... so it's easy to clean. Okay, next I'm going to stamp... let's do this one next. I don't remember what order I did them in. I guess it doesn't really matter. Where is it? This is the fill-in part. This one. And then we're going to do this one. We'll also use this part of it, but for right now we're just going to do this one. And this one we're going to stamp with the Night of Navy ink, but we're going to fill in with the shaded spruce stamped off. Okay. So let's put one over here. This is the outline. One down here. Ooh, I got lots of ink on my block. So you do want to take your chamois or a paper towel and wipe that off. Otherwise you end up with it on your paper by mistake. Actually, you know what? I got it all around. I must have... this ink pad is new and it's really juicy, so light touch when you're stamping on it. Lighter touch, James. Much better. Okay. We're going to stamp over here. Another one. I'm going to go over here. That's good with this one. Let's wash this one off. Switch it out with the center part of it. I'm going to put the navy ink away for a minute. And I'm going to get my green ink back. Oop, I didn't get the center part out. Alright, that's this piece right here. Can you see it? Right there. Alright, so I'm going to stamp it, or ink it up, and I'm going to stamp off on a piece of scratch paper. And then I'm going to line up over this. If it doesn't line up exactly, that's fine. That's the magic of this particular stamp set. It looks good, even if it's not perfect. It looks like it was intentionally done that way. Okay, one more here. You know, some fabric and stuff has offset, so it looks like it's intentional. Okay, now we're going to take soft suede and this stick one. Looks like a branch. This one here. I'm going to add a few of those. Okay, I want one up in here. Oop, I almost forgot to stamp off. Wouldn't have been the end of the world, but it would have been darker than I wanted it. Stamp off. And where else did I... oh, down here. A couple down here. One here. Oh, see what I was talking about the making sure your ink block was clean? I got a little ink on the edge of my block and it got on my paper. It's alright, we'll cover it up with a holly leaf or something, but a lighter touch if I had a smaller block, it would probably work better, but I don't. Less chance of rocking if you do. And then we're going to put another one here. Okay. All right, let's wash this off. And we're going to get the berry looking one. Put the brown away. We're done with the brown ink completely. That's all we needed it for. And this time we're going to go with the Merry Merlot. Clip and slide. When you first get them, they're really stiff, but they get easier to use as you use them. Okay, so we're just going to stamp this. Just stamp one up here. Light touch. Oh, I'm so bad about rocking this and getting the ink all over the edge. Let's use my fingers. Put a couple down here. That looks good. Okay. Stamp off. So do as I say, not as I do, and stamp lighter, and try not to rock your block. And again, the closer the stamp is to the size of your block, like I could have probably put this one on sideways onto here, like this. I would probably have better luck not getting the ink onto the other areas. Well, actually, I might try that with the inside part of this one. Okay, so now we're going to take the inside part, which is this one here, and we're going to fill in those red spots. We're going to do it with Stampin' Off, though. Well, actually, I don't think I did. So we're just going to ink it. Hover over a little bit. Okay, let's see what I'm doing. Yeah, we're just going to stamp. Not bad. It's a little bit off, but that's alright. It's the nature of this stamp. It works. See what I'm doing. I'm going to wash this off. I got too much ink around the edges. Can't see where my borders are. Light touch. Real light touch. And with the other one, I think I was standing up over the top of it, so it makes a difference. Okay, now we're going to put the red ink away for a minute. We're going to come back to the, that's a Merry Merlot, and we're going to bring the shaded spruce back in. And we're going to go with this, this one here. We're going to fill in some of these empty spots. And this one is a stamped off one. I stamped it off because I don't want the colorful strength. I do want a little bit of foliage down in some of these empty spaces. Don't need tons of it, just want a little. Oop, that one I stamped full strength. Oh well. Do another one somewhere else so that it looks like we did it on purpose. Alright, one more. Alright. Oh, look, I did it there too. Again, do as I say, not as I do. Alright. Now we're going to get the little holly leaf. A little stamp. I'm going to stamp the outline and the green full strength. Here and there, just random. A few up here, I think. A couple down here. I'm going to put some up here where I've got this smudge that I did. Up here I want to put a couple. Let's put a couple here too. Okay. I'm stamping off my thing, that's alright. It'll wash. Alright, now we're going to find the center piece. We're going to stamp that off first with green, and then we're going to go back and add some of the navy to it. The reason I did it that way is because I wanted it to look green, but I wanted the appearance of I wanted it to be a little bit of a different green. And you just, there's one side that's more curvy than the other. You just line that up with the stamp. That's how you know where it goes. A lot of stamping in this card, but it's really not a difficult card at all. And when you make a mistake, you just cover it up. Or go with it. Just roll with it. Alright, clean this off. I definitely have a heavy hand when I'm stamping. Alright, we're done with the green ink, I think completely, so let's put it away. Let's get out the blue ink. And we're going to stamp the holly leaves again with the blue ink. Just gives it a slightly different color, but it still has that green tinge to it then. Okay. Oh, there's two more. I thought it was done, but I'm not. One. Two. Now I'm done. Okay. Alright, now we're going to take those little berries. These ones. With the red ink, we're done with the blue ink completely, so let's put it away. Oh look at my hands, I'm dirty. Bring the Mary Merlot back in. We're going to add some berries to our hollies. We're also going to add some just around to add a little bit more interest in color. And I'm going to add some up here where I flubbed, because then they look like they're supposed to be there. See? It makes it hide. Oh, look at that smudge I got there. Well, I can't really hide that one. I might be able to erase it. Ratatouille. Get all the way to the end and then I mess up the card. Okay. Where is it? Alright. Well, we're just going to roll with it. Okay, I'm going to use the same stamp and I'm going to add some gold to it. Man, I'll slow down a little bit. I might actually do a better job. Let's see if I can add a couple more berries there. Shoot. Oh well. We'll figure it out. I do have an eraser somewhere here, but I'm not sure where it is. It's not right here at my desk. So I'll have to look for it. I've just reorganized and I can't find anything right now. Isn't that the way? Put some of these away so I don't lose them. They're little and they're falling off there. Okay, so now we're going to add some copper berries to tie this in with everything else. So we'll get out the Versamark. I'm just going to add a couple copper berries here and there. Okay, let's put our ink away. Get out the embossing powder. Not bad. Okay. Funnel this back in so I don't make a mess. Alright, and again I'm going to heat emboss that. Apologize for the noise in advance. I know it's really loud when I'm doing it over here, but I don't have a lot of choice. Turn this off a second, I just see a spot I need to fix before I emboss it so it doesn't emboss. I still got some from my finger on there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this holly leaf and I'm going to add a holly leaf there. Cover that up. I don't know what I got on there. When you're doing this card, take your time, slow down, so you don't make the mistakes I'm making. Oh, come on, open. That's it, right. It hides it. It works. Alright, now let's heat emboss the copper ones. I'm just warming up my heat tool so it doesn't take as long. There it goes. Get a smoother finish when I emboss it from the bottom. Tool off, put it away. Alright, we're done with our stamping, so let's get this inkiness out of the way. All this inkiness. Alright, now we need our card base. And we're going to take the Tombow glue, put a little bit of Tombow on the back of it. Oh, this glue is oozing out. It just wants to be used. That's way too much glue. Alrighty. And there's just going to be, this page is a 1/4 inch larger than this page, so there's going to be like 1/8 of an inch all the way around the edge. Turn it over so I don't get my dirty fingerprints all over the front of it. And then this is the same size as the front of the card base. It should be. It's a little bit off. We'll glue that to the front of the card. There's our card for today. This is the original one I did. Here's the one I did tonight. I gotta trim this bottom off just a tiny little bit there. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me today. Again, my name is Jamie Magrich. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, so if you see anything you would like today, please don't hesitate to give me a email or contact me through Stampin' Up! Again, my name is Jamie Magrich, and my site is jamiemagrich.stampinup.net. Well, have a great day.